Adam here from Next Level Radio. Ben and I had the opportunity to talk with producer Tyler Mitchell. He talked about his new film, The Angriest Man in Brooklyn, with an all-star cast such as Robin Williams, Mila Kunis, and Peter Dinklage, just to name a couple. He also told us a few actors that he's really enjoyed working with through film, along with some that he'd really like to work with. And he also gave us a little bit of insight as to how he really got into production. We definitely want you to make sure you go check out The Angriest Man in Brooklyn. It's going to be in select theaters and video on demand May 23rd. For more interviews and shows from us here at Next Level Radio, you can go to nextlevelradioonline.com. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Next Level Radio Online, or follow us on Twitter at NXT Level Radio. You can hear Ben and I recap this interview on the Next Level Showcast, which is live every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on Next Level Radio. If you're looking for the recap on this particular interview, you can check out the Next Level Showcast from May 25th. Thanks for listening, and make sure you subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube. This way you're the first to find out and the first to hear when we post a show or an interview.
Hello again, everyone. Once again, I am Ben Beck, joined by Adam Gorey, and we are back with another guest spotlight. Opening up this Friday, May 23rd, is a new movie, The Angriest Man in Brooklyn. And let me say, this movie has an amazing, amazing cast. Robin Williams, Mila Kunis, Peter Dinklage, Melissa Leo, like I said, just an amazing cast. And tonight we are joined by the producer of the film. Please welcome Mr. Tyler Mitchell. Tyler, welcome to the show, and thanks for spending a few minutes with us tonight.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
So, now, as I mentioned, the new film, The Angriest Man in Brooklyn, it's going to be in theaters this Friday, May 23rd. For those people that are listening who really haven't heard anything about the film yet or are unfamiliar with it, tell us a little bit about the film.
The film is about a man named Henry Altman, played by Robin Williams, who is the angriest man in Brooklyn. You find out over the course of the movie that he has lost one of his children in an accident, tragically a couple of years prior, and he's become really angry at the world and has driven those closest to him away from him. And the movie opens up with him going to see his doctor, but his doctor's not there. Dr. Sharon Gill is, who's played by Mila Kunis. And Sharon looks at Henry's scan. He's been having these horrible headaches, and she sees that he has a very serious brain aneurysm. And Henry starts freaking out and starts, screaming at her, how long has this been there? How long have you guys known? And starts saying, how long do I have to live? How long? And starts berating her. And like in a panic, she blurts out 90 minutes. And at first he doesn't take it seriously. He says, I'm going to get you fired, and he storms out of the hospital in his gown. But, as he's leaving, he thinks, well, like, what if it's true? What if I only have 90 minutes to live? And the movie then is Robin trying to correct all the wrongs in his life in a very short period of time, as Mila's character is frantically chasing him around Brooklyn, trying to get him into intensive care.
Okay, and it's listed as a comedy and a drama, and it's actually kind of funny because I was thinking, looking at the cast, they've all done both comedies and dramas. I mean, even Robin Williams has done some. Do you think that has helped kind of the the production with the movie at all, the fact that they have experience doing both?
Absolutely. I mean, they're all incredible actors, and the movie definitely does have that dramedy tone. I mean, there's scenes that we hope you'll laugh. We hope you cry. It's both serious and funny in one of those slice of life kinds of ways. And all the actors in the film are tremendously versatile. And can go from angry and yelling in one scene to being hilarious in the next.
Right. And how long has the movie been in the works?
The movie's been in the works for a very long time. It's actually a remake of an Israeli film called The 92 Minutes of Mr. Baum. And I think it first started being developed almost 12 years ago, long before I was involved. I got involved in the movie about 2.5 years ago. But the script has always been, very strong and was pretty much fully developed by the time that I came on board. And I just helped, put together the cast and the production and the financing.
Okay.
Great. We've seen Robin Williams play the part where, as you said, like he starts off very angry and then he tries to make up for lost time and something, along those lines. We've seen his character play someone who has the negative attributes in the beginning of the movie, but then obviously in a comedic way can turn everything around and fix them by the end of the film. We've seen examples of that in like Mrs. Doubtfire and Hook and other movies that he's done. And he's very great at it, being the actor that he is. It seems that, this role in this movie is very similar to that. When the movie was being developed, was he the person that they had in mind for this character when they were putting everything together?
He's certainly one of them. I mean, the thing about this role is the character Henry in the beginning of the film he's very unlikable. He is a bit of a misanthrope and quite caustic, and you learn over the course of the movie, why he is the way he is. And so in order for that character to be likable, you kind of have to have an actor who has real credit with the audience, and everybody loves Robin Williams. So even when he's, being a complete jerk, you're going to give him the benefit of the doubt, that he has valid reasons or that he'll be able to redeem himself in the end. But I think that this character is definitely darker and a bit more dramatic than some of his more comedic roles. It definitely deals with serious issues of life and death and family. Which a movie like Mrs. Doubtfire does as well, but it has the ticking clock element, to it, where he's faced with his own, mortality, and I think that's something that he hasn't played before.
Yeah. Does it have like a Stranger Than Fiction kind of feel to it, like that type of, a little dark? Because I mean that had Will Ferrell in it, but that wasn't necessarily a comedy. You know what I mean?
If I could compare it tonally to something, I would say it's more of a movie like About Schmidt, or some of those roles that Jack Nicholson has played in the past, like as good as it gets, for instance, where he's a tough cookie and someone that that you don't love right off the bat, but as you get to know him, you see a lot of the humor and comedy in the way that he sees the world.
Right. Now, I mean, you've worked with, in previous films, actors like Morgan Freeman, Bruce Willis, Jim Carrey, and obviously now Robin Williams. So I'm sure, I know personally for me it would be, but I'm sure it's got to be a little hard at times not to get, at least a little bit starstruck. So what do you do to stay professional so that the job, gets done? Because though it's a movie and it's entertainment, it still is a job.
For sure. I've definitely been, starstruck on several occasions, and I look at it as a real honor and one of the the big bonuses to working in this industry is when you have a project that does attract amazing talent and people that you've wanted to work with for your entire career. And people like Robin, who I've looked up to since I was a kid, and since he was on Mork and Mindy. At the end of the day, they are all incredibly talented, but regular people, and they're very professional and there to do a job. And so you try to keep it just really about the work, and if they feel like loosening up and and having fun, then you make time for that as well.
Now, is there? I know the PC answer is probably no, but is there anyone in particular that you've worked with that you've enjoyed, well and above the others?
I mean, well, Josh Hartnett has been a friend of mine for a long time, and when we made Lucky Number 11, it was actually a film that he turned down several times, and we had to convince him to do, and finally we're successful. And when Bruce Willis joined the cast as well, I had one of my first jobs out of college. I was a director's assistant on a movie called The Whole Nine Yards, and I got to meet Bruce then and work with him a little bit, and then I guess it was 5 or 6 years later to be producing a movie that he was in and getting to work with him. We had a lot of fun making that movie together.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Lucky Number 11. Actually, I think that's a very underrated movie. That's a movie that's a personal favorite of mine.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, I know when I was looking at, who to mention in my last question, I was looking at Lucky Number 11, and I had to try and pick. That cast is just, it's incredible. I mean, the number of people in that film that are household names. Like, I had to pick, like, Morgan Freeman and Bruce Willis, but I mean, I could have kept going for probably, like, 10 other names.
Yeah, Sir Ben Kingsley was definitely a thrill to work with as well. I mean, he has such weight, and he's been in so many classic movies, and he's such a gentleman and such a pleasure. Having all of them on the set at the same time was pretty amazing, and that was one of the, I would say, the highlights of my career, to date, was just sitting back and kind of watching, a master class in acting with several actors at the time. Morgan, Bruce, and Sir Ben, had never worked together before, and so just to see them all, playing off each other was really pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you mentioned Ben Kingsley. I'm kind of curious. Did everybody on set, because he is, Sir Ben Kingsley, technically, does everybody always refer to him as that, or does anyone?
They do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
They do.
I think that's a very underutilized thing when somebody gets knighted. So not everybody always refers to them in the Sir. But I mean,
like Sir McDagger and Sir Elton John and.
Yeah.
Well, he's earned it, and he carries himself, in that manner, so it makes it pretty easy.
That's awesome. And now, as great as a list as it is, you'd mentioned all the names. Are there any actors you've really wanted to work with but haven't been able to?
The list is really long. I mean, there's so many talented people out there that I'm excited to try and work with. Tom Hardy, someone who I think is really doing incredible things right now. I just saw Locke the other day and thought he was tremendous, and I think he's exciting in every role that I've seen him do.
Yeah, I think he's even a little underrated.
He is. I mean, I think there's a lot of actors in Hollywood right now who aren't quite superstars yet, but they're certainly their acting is just is really phenomenal. So there's a long list from the guys you would expect, like Brad Pitt and Johnny Depp and Tom Cruise, but then I'm really excited about people like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and I'm going to be doing a movie with Sally Hawkins in the fall, who I'm incredibly excited about. Chris Cooper is someone who I've always wanted to work with. There's definitely a long list.
As we had mentioned earlier, you being the producer of this film, and obviously some of the other films that you've worked on before. How exactly did you get into being a producer?
It all sort of started with a road trip. My freshman year in college, I took a road trip with a buddy of mine across country for 30 days, and our first stop was in L.A., and a friend of mine from college was actually working for a production company called Alphaville at the time. And we went to go visit him at the office, and we, drove onto the Universal lot, and it was the first time I had been, on a movie lot other than when I took the tour at Universal Studios when I was a kid. And I kind of, for the first time saw this industry, and all these people on these massive sound stages, working, and I went into the production office and saw posters of a lot of movies I loved, from Animal House to Tombstone and the Blues Brothers and Simple Plan and Raising Arizona and these guys, Jim Jackson, Sean Daniels, who my friend was interning for, produced all these films. When I got back to college, the internet was really kind of just, taking off, and IMDb had just sort of been created, and I started looking, into my favorite films, and I found that, one of the common threads was that the majority were all produced by the same, 3 or 4 people. And so I thought I'll be a producer. I have no idea what being a producer is, but it must be a great job. So that next summer, I asked my friend who had that job. I said, "Hey, are you going to intern for that company, again? And if not, would you mind making an introduction and see if, they might be willing to take me on?" And he did, and I was really lucky that at 19 years old I fell in to a group of of people that I'm still very close to today that were assistants at the time, and I was their intern, and they've gone on to be tremendously successful producers and managers and people in the business that have kind of helped guide me along the way.
Yeah, right. And I mean, Landscape Entertainment just recently promoted you to partner, right, in February?
That's right.
So congratulations to that. I mean, you got to be doing something right then. If you're getting promotions, that's always a good thing.
I don't know. I'm trying. My partner Bob Cooper has been around for a long time, and he ran HBO Films and was running DreamWorks for Steven Spielberg and Columbia TriStar, and he's been a great mentor, and I come to work every day. Every project is different. Every movie, every TV show, and I just try to learn as much as possible and keep pushing the boulders uphill.
Yeah, cool. Well, I know we're running to the end of our time with you tonight, but usually how we like to end our interviews is with what we call our rapid fire questions. Basically, how it's going to work. Adam's just going to ask you a couple questions. They're very simple questions. They're just just some fun questions we like to ask. You don't have to go into too much detail. Just answer with whatever the first thing that pops to your head.
I'll do my best.
What's your favorite recreational hobby?
Skiing.
Skiing. Okay. Do you? I assume being on the West Coast, you have to travel a little bit for that.
Yeah, I mean, I ski at Mammoth a lot, and I spend a lot of time up at Canada at Retallick Lodge, and I definitely put my time in every winter and try to hit the slopes as much as possible.
Okay, I was gonna say because the ski slopes, we're Philadelphia based, and I'm about an hour from the Poconos, and I'm sure the slopes don't compare at all to up in Canada. Now, if they made a movie about your life, which actor would you want to play you?
Tom Hardy.
Oh, there you go. I was gonna say you can build them up and then not use them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Where's your favorite place to visit?
Tom
Hardy's house.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna say Nelson, British Columbia.
Okay. Last one here. If you could only eat one thing for the rest of your life, one food, one meal, it doesn't have to be just like chicken. What would it be?
Tacos.
Tacos.
Taco fan.
I'm a big taco fan. I had tacos for dinner last night. My wife and I we have Taco Tuesday.
Oh, nice.
I tried to implement that one time at an old job I had. It didn't quite catch on. Chicken or beef, though?
I'm going to go beef.
And soft or hard shell?
Hard.
I like soft shell. Maybe it's just the hard shells we buy, but they always, every time I take the first bite, they basically just break into 1,000 pieces.
It's true. I do think Chipotle hard tacos, are pretty great these days, and you can never go wrong with Taco Bell. But you're right. Finding the right hard shell is definitely an ongoing pursuit. I don't know if I'm quite there yet.
They need to make like a hybrid, one that's like hard but not quite crispy hard.
Exactly. You can maybe that is the answer is to make your own tacos.
There you go.
All right. Well, we come to the end of the interview, but we definitely want to thank you for spending a couple minutes with us tonight. We also really want to send everybody out. I'm a huge Robin Williams fan, so I know for starters, I'm going to go see the movie. You've got both Robin Williams and Peter Dinklage. I'm huge fans of both.
And Mila Kunis. I can't get enough of her.
Well, great. Yeah, it'll be in theaters in select cities on Friday and available on VOD as well.
And we had actually, real quick before we wrap up, we had talked about this with another couple directors that we had on with a movie that was select theaters but on demand. And we talked about how actually very convenient it is for on demand. I mean, you had mentioned before about technology. I mean, technology for me to be able to watch a newly released movie, from my couch, not having to get up and pay all these kinds of incredible fees for different things at the movie theater is really a cool thing. And I'm glad that more movies are starting to do that.
Yeah, I think you're going to start to see, more and more of it. And initially, I think, a lot of people in the industry, had a negative reaction to it. But I think that you can reach a much wider audience, faster. And people today, we live in an on-demand world, and people want to see, new releases when they come out, from the comforts of their own home and their HD TVs that they, spend their hard-earned money on. So I think that, now the technology at home has caught up somewhat, for certain kinds of movies to be just as enjoyable as, at home as they are in the theater. Obviously you're going to still go and see Gravity, in IMAX 3D and pay, the price to do so. But, for a lot of movies, I think they can be, enjoyed just as fully at home.
Yeah, I mean, even IMAX 3D, I like IMAX, and I know Ben's the same way, but neither of us like 3D, so that's not really a selling point for us.
Got it.
So, well, we're definitely going to check out the movie, The Angriest Man in Brooklyn. We're going to send all of our listeners to do the same. But, Tyler, thanks for spending some time with us tonight.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, guys. It was a lot of fun.
So, definitely check us out, www.nextlevelradioonline.com. And until next time, we will see you around. Take care.